So some news just really lands differently. And the story we're digging into today, it's definitely one of those. We're talking about the really concerning death of a Canadian citizen while in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody, ICE custody. The focus is on Johnny Noviello. He was 49, a Canadian, but actually a permanent U.S. resident since way back in 91. Found unresponsive, later pronounced dead. This was at Federal Detention Center down in Miami. It's a somber one. We really want to understand what happened.
Exactly. And our goal here really is to pull out the key pieces of information from what we know about this specific case, but also, importantly, place it in that larger picture. Detainee welfare, international relations. We want to help you understand not just what happened, but why it actually matters.
Okay, so let's start with Johnny Noviello himself, the background. Our sources say he was convicted back in October 2023. Racketeering, drug trafficking, specifically hydrocodone and oxycodone. That conviction led to a 12-month prison sentence in Florida. Now, the ICE custody timeline, it's pretty stark. ICE arrested him May 15th, 2025. That was for removal proceedings.
Like the process to deport a non-citizen.
Exactly. And then, tragically, June 23rd, 2025, he's found unresponsive at the Federal Detention Center in Miami. Around, 12:54 p.m.? They tried interventions, but he was pronounced dead shortly after, 1:36 p.m.
And here's a really critical piece of context. His medical history. Noviello had epilepsy. He was on medication for it.
Okay.
And his family has confirmed, yes, he was regularly getting treatment for this condition.
Ah.
So that detail, it's not just background noise. It immediately makes you ask, well, how are these ICE facilities managing complex health needs, especially when the family says he was getting consistent treatment before? ICE and the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, they're investigating the cause of death now. That's obviously the crucial next step.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that timeline, the medical history, the big question then is, how's Canada reacting? One of their citizens dying in U.S. custody. Well, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand, she made a public statement, said Ottawa was notified, and they are, quote, urgently seeking more information from the U.S. side. We also know Canadian consular officials are on this, actively following the case.
And that reaction, it's swift and it's critical, especially considering, the existing diplomatic climate. This case definitely adds tension. Canada-U.S. relations, they're already a bit strained, right?
Right.
Recent U.S. immigration policies, border issues, asylum. So Canada's consular services, you can bet they'll be pushing hard for a full explanation, access to everything, medical records, any video footage.
Right, makes sense. But this isn't just, a single isolated incident, unfortunately. When you zoom out a bit, the numbers are, frankly, alarming. Johnny Noviello's death makes him either the 9th or maybe the 10th person, depending on which source you check, to die in ICE custody just in 2025.
10th person.
Wow.
Yeah, in about half a year. And that number, that rate, it really demands attention. ICE emphasizes, look, they provide comprehensive health care. But an incident like this, it just throws that whole issue of detainee welfare and safety right back into the spotlight. Major concerns being reignited.
It feels like a pattern.
It does raise questions about a pattern. And the next steps, procedurally. ICE has to complete a death report. They have 90 days. This isn't just internal. That report goes to Congress. It goes to public watchdogs. It's mandated. So there's meant to be accountability, public scrutiny.
Okay, so there's a formal process underway, and it sounds like this isn't just going to fade away either. This specific case, Noviello's death, it's expected to come up in bilateral talks, right? Discussions about migration, detainee rights between Canada and the U.S.
Absolutely. It will be on the agenda. It has those broader diplomatic ripples.
Okay, so let's just quickly pull the main threads together for you. Johnny Noviello, Canadian citizen, permanent U.S. resident, died in ICE custody, Miami, June 23rd, 2025. Canada is pushing, urgently seeking details, and his death fits into this really concerning picture of multiple fatalities in ICE detention this year alone.
And beyond just the immediate facts of this case, it forces us to ask some bigger questions, doesn't it? Like, what about accountability for detainee welfare when it crosses international borders? And how do these individual tragedies, how do they really affect that complex web of diplomacy, immigration policy, and ultimately human rights? Something to think about.